Hello everyone, we are Group 3. Today we are talking about home ownership for issues, challenges, and sustainable solutions. Part 1. Let me introduction. The paper examines affordable housing as a key component of sustainable development, emphasizing its role as a human right that promotes stability, dignity, and equality. Linked to Sustainable Development Goal 11, and study uses case studies and policy analysis to show how affordable housing enhances well-being, social equity, environmental protection, and offers practical solutions. The second one is significance of home ownership. Housing is a basic survival need, a fundamental human right, as stated in Article 25 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Beyond physical safety, the quote housing supports mental health, security, and social identity. A 2023 report by the National Housing Federation and might find that unstable housing raises the risk of anxiety and depression by over the percent of 60. The OECD links high home ownership with stronger social inclusion, safety, and cultural identity. In countries like Germany and the Netherlands, long-term rental housing can offer security comparable to home to ownership. The third one is relation to SDG 11. Sustainable Development Goal 11 promotes inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities, emphasizing affordable housing. Affordable housing drives inequality, urban sprawl, slums, and climate vulnerability. In contrast, affordable housing improves a community health and supports sustainable urban growth. Singapore's HDB model showcases a strong balance of affordability, livability, and sustainability under this goal.
Now, let's move to the second part, which is about factors influencing house choices. First, location, which is crucial in housing selection for families with children, the elderly, or chronically ill patients. Easy access to medical facilities provides reassurance and security. Urban residents, especially low and middle income households, value efficient public transport, connectivity to save time and costs, proximity to convenience shopping and services like supermarkets and banks enhances daily living convenience. Access to cultural and recreation amenities improves quality of life by offering relaxation and community engagement opportunities. Meanwhile, housing affordability is a pressing issue for Malaysia's B40 and M40 income groups, with rising living costs and inflation exacerbating and challenge. Despite their higher incomes, the M40 group is facing slow economic growth and inflation, which puts them under great pressure. Mortgage interest rates and down payment ratios have a huge impact on their housing choices, as both groups have difficulty predicting market trends and are more sensitive to interest rate reflections. Higher down payment ratios further limit their ability to buy homes, and even with subsidies, such as housing vouchers, their financial burden remains heavy. Addressing the housing problem, governments around the world, including Malaysia, have introduced initiatives such as PR1MA, IOMA-WIP, and PPR to meet the needs of different income groups. First-time homebuyers and low-income families also enjoy targeted assistance, such as tax incentives and housing subsidies, but the M40 group often cannot enjoy low-income benefits. Finally, personal needs are also a factor in choosing housing. For example, family size and preference for housing facilities, such as safety and energy saving, will significantly affect housing choices, and different groups have different priorities, achieving sustainable development. Let's move to the third part, key issues and challenges in housing. Due to population growth, accelerated urbanization, lagging planning, and imperfect allocation mechanisms, the supply of affordable housing in urban areas in Malaysia is seriously insufficient. Regulatory barriers such as land scarcity, poor policy implementation, impact regulatory system, and complex interest games have further exacerbated the shortage of affordable housing and hindered the construction and fair distribution of affordable housing.
Firstly, I want to talk about the property circulation. The property circulation will lead to many negative effects. Firstly, it has negative effects on housing affordability. For example, it will lead to higher house prices. Speculators buy properties for short-term gains, artificially reducing supply and driving prices beyond the reach of local incomes, thus increasing the pressure of ordinary buyers to buy the house. Moreover, it will have the inflation of rent. In this society, there are still many people cannot afford to buy a house, so they will choose to rent a house. Then when the house price increases, the homeowner will reduce the bundle by increasing the rent. However, it will have the potential limited benefits. Speculators may provide liquidity during downturns by pushing distressed assets. Also, high prices can encourage construction, but without policy safeguards, this often fires high-end projects over affordable housing. The real estate environment is a double-edged sword. First of all, the inflow of foreign capital can increase the country's foreign exchange reserves, thereby maintaining the stability of the exchange rate. Secondly, unregulated markets usually lack government supervision, and this sector can precisely fill the gap of formal markets. Of course, real estate environment also brings many negative impacts. For example, economic dependence will increase. The real estate market that overly relies on foreign capital may be impacted due to international capital flows. For instance, in the Singapore port of Cambodia, the influx of Chinese capital has driven by land prices, resulting in a large number of unfinished buildings and criminal problems. Furthermore, it may also exacerbate the financial crisis. The unregulated subprime loan market in Florida, the United States before 2008 triggered the global financial crisis. Then is the point of poor construction quality. It will directly affect the safety, durability, and economy of engineering projects. For example, improper foundation treatment can cause uneven settlement and threaten the overall stability of the building. If problems such as paper leakage are exposed later, they may cause motor growth or electrical short circuits, posing a long-term threat to health. Furthermore, The frequent repair of quality defects leads to the accumulation of labor and material costs, which may far exceed the initial construction costs saved. Then I will talk about the loan approvable issues. Although stricter loan standards and created scoring requirements can help control the risks of financial institutions, they may have a multiplier impacts on borrowers, market liquidity, and even the overall economy. First of all, the availability of loans has decreased. Even people with a good credit record may not be able to get one. According to a survey by the Federal Reserve, the rejection rate for small business loans in the United States reached 45% in 2022, mainly due to insufficient credit scores. Furthermore, it also has an impact on financial institutions. For instance, the financial gap for small and medium-sized enterprises has widened, intensifying economic polarization and under strict supervision. Some institutions may evade reviews to businesses such as extended loans, thereby magnifying hidden risks. Not only that, it will also exacerbate inequality. After 2008, the United States tightened mortgage loans, and the loan approval rate for Black families declined by twice as much as that for white families. Strict loan standards can reduce the default rate in the short term, but in the long term, they may suppress economic vitality and exacerbate social division. The last one I want to talk about is the information gap. The opacity of housing market data will exacerbate information asymmetry, leading to low market efficiency and unbalanced resources allocation. Data opacity is harmful to both home buyers and tenants. Buyers may pay fees higher than the market price due to the lack of comparable data. However, tenants, due to their lack of understanding of the reasonable rent range, and point to being charged excessive fees or being defrauded. Furthermore, when there is a lack of real trading data, investors relying on speculation rather than fundamental decisions will anticipate market volatility. Not only that, it also has cutting interference with the government's formulation. When the government has difficulty accurately monitoring housing price bubbles, vacancy rates, or housing shortages, it leads to lagging or ineffective regulatory policies. For instance, Germany did not establish a national rent database until the 2010. Before that, the rent control policies were difficult to implement due to the lack of data.
About SDG-based solution proposals. To address health issues, the government should take the lead by working with private companies to provide tax break, land subsidies, and low-interest loans for affordable housing, reform the like-for-evaluation incentives, and closing zoning can help create mixed communities. Improving financial literacy is also key. Offering financial education, especially to first-time buyers and youth, through school or training programs, can help people manage money better and prepare for future home ownership. Innovative building technologies like IBS and BIM can boost construction efficiency and cost. Promoting green building and renewable energy, such as solar panels and renewable systems, can make house more sustainable and affordable in the long run. Finally, good community design matters. Inclusive housing policies and shared public spaces like park and community centers and strengthen community ties and improve quality of life.
In part 5, let me make a conclusion for our presentation. Our research clearly shows that housing is central pillars of sustainable development. It directly relates to Sustainable Development Goal 11, which aims to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. We found that in Malaysia, the lack of affordable housing stems from several critical issues. Limited supply of affordable units due to land scarcity and regulatory inefficiencies. Rising house prices and inflation, especially for young professional and low-income families. Property speculation that drives up price and limits access for general home buyers. Strict loan approval process and poor construction quality. And finally, a lack of transparent information for buyer. Looking forward, we proposed 4 key areas for future research. First, we need to explore the long-term impact of innovative housing technologies such as 3D printed and modular homes. Are they sustainable, affordable, and accessible to communities? Second, digital platforms should be studied as tools for reducing the information gap, such as mobile apps, or blockchain system for property data and subsidies. Third, we need a longitudinal study to evaluate how public housing programs like PR1MA or PPR impact families over time in terms of education, employment, and community stability. Lastly, we should examine behavior and culture factors. What do different generations value in home? How do lifestyle and family structure affect housing choices? Finally, we must move from research to real action. Government must lead the way by reforming zoning laws, increasing land for affordable housing, and enforcing quality standards. The private sector must be incentivized to build inclusive, sustainable home, not just a luxury project. NGOs and civil society must advocate for the most vulnerable and help implement policies on the ground. And most importantly, we must educate the public, especially young people and first-time buyers, about financial literacy, mortgages, and housing rights. Let's not forget, affordable housing is not a luxury, it's necessary. And with the right approach, it is achievable. That's all. Thanks for watching.